I cannot have found a better person who can talk to me about so many countries all at once, except Jane. Jane Wren is the CEO of Automaton. We've seen her before in our show where she spoke about oil and gas, and they have a horizontal platform for industrial IoT. Thank you for coming back to our show again, Jane. Can you tell us what is the scene in IoT globally? Because you're a global company and you have so many clients in so many places. So what can you tell us about the global IoT scene?
Okay, thank you. So, and actually, indeed, IoT, industrial IoT is happening globally. We know from Automaton perspective, we are involved on all 3 continents in North America, in Europe, and in Asia. In particular, you can find our software running in a lot of cities for smart city in Europe. For example, in Paris, there are applications on our software stack that tracks the crowd, that tracks the environment, monitor the pollution level. The pollution level monitoring, for example, also runs in Copenhagen to make sure the CO2s and different levels are being monitored in the cities. So now you can go to Middle East and Asia. There's a lot of smart city services they're running on our stack that monitors traffic. For example, in Dubai, there are traffic monitoring and bus monitoring applications, which actually can tell you how many people are in the queue at the bus station, how many people are on the bus, and what is the best route for buses to come.
Wow.
Yes, and India has taken a pretty strong lead also in smart cities. Cities like Jaipur, like Vijayawada, are where we know with our software, and then a lot of progress has been made in terms of parking services and lighting services. Adelaide in Australia has a very strong application on parking because the cities there would like to automate the parking tickets enforcement. Of course, it's both good. It means good, makes the city much more efficient in terms of parking violations, parking prices, and policies. And you might also have seen the news recently that in the United States, Kansas City is also putting a lot of those information out in terms of the cars, traffic, and the city streets. All those places where software is running, interfacing with those devices and events to create meaningful information.
Wow.
We talk about cities, but actually there are also a closely related type of service which is running in city, but sometimes by private companies. This is, as you know, not surprisingly, is waste management. So waste management is also a very big deal in Europe, as you can tell. So the sensors and trucks, sensors are being put in, and we generate the optimized schedules for trucks that can go around on those.
Where do you have this in Europe? I have seen the smart waste management in Barcelona. What supporting?
So in Europe. So in Hamburg, for example, those are the places those waste management trucks are running. So this is the view, and city has taken a lead in adopting those smart city services. And I shared on them some of the previous episodes in oil and gas, and oil and gas tend to be global as well. So we have our software running in Savannah, in Mexico, that makes the oil and gas assets more efficient. And we are looking forward to expand with these global companies into their other places across the globe.
So do you see anything? You also have something for agriculture, I heard, right? I mean, even for smart agriculture, yes. You have multiple places.
That's right. So in agriculture, there's a lot of great partners we work with because agriculture is very local. We have a global customer, we partner Intel, which takes us to jointly, we go to different locations locally. For example, in the Netherlands, there's a great partner called Vandenberg Software. They have created, using our software stack on the Automaton stack, created a smart greenhouse application, but they named the smart cucumber because the first utilization of this application is to help with the seed selection of the cucumber plants. Now, Vandenberg create the software for their customers, which are great companies in the Netherlands, and we're really delighted to be in partnerships with them. So now when you go to Japan, in places like Osaka, we have partners like Universe. They create greenhouse application too, actually farming application, along with us and along with Intel's hardware, for example, as a total solution, and in something what they call the sandponics. So this actually application is to plant agricultural produces on sand, but because you could very carefully monitor the water, fertilizer, everything condition on sand, and very precisely control them, you actually become very productive growing those things on sand. And we're happy to be involved into supporting that with our software stack.
That's fantastic. So you have agriculture in Netherlands and in Japan.
That's right.
And do you see a difference, like for something that's so local? Do you see, like you gave a big list of cities and different services that you're offering? Similarly for agriculture, do you find the difference? Is it same when you go to the different countries, or is globally, or finally IoT is IoT, or do you find any subtle difference in the actual adapting of this new technology on how it is done?
So that's a very interesting question. So the differences, and actually is also why there's challenges, comes from the devices, sensors, and hardware, because every country has their own local providers, especially cities, because city governments much more prefer their local providers and companies who make the hardware and sensors than anywhere else. The good part is the business logic, what is efficient, is fairly similar. So in order to succeed in this environment, you need to be able to plug and run all the different type of local sensor devices. You can't fix your software to the sensor, to the device. And that's also one of the reasons we succeeded in going across globally, is to be able to do that efficiently.
So the business logic is the same, and you bring that knowledge from one place to another?
Yes, the core business logic is very similar. Now, in different countries, for example, in city, they might write different policies. The policy would be like this. For example, if in Dubai, the policy might say that if the bus station does not have people there waiting, let's turn this light off, right? But the policy in Adelaide might be, if this car has parked overtime for 15 minutes, send an enforcement officer there for tickets. Now, different city may vary on those policies, but you should not have to rewire your hardware. Those should be chosen by the users. Those flexibilities should also be there.
This is fantastic. It's amazing. I mean, so many different use cases. I don't have a single person who can cover so many use cases and so many cities. It's just, you took us on a world tour right there. So you're based in US, right? So how do people contact you?
So we're based in Sunnyvale, and it's in the Silicon Valley. Fortunate to be here and have an ecosystem of great companies and partners, including Cisco and Intel, we're working with here. You can go onto our website, automaton.com, and find us. And we work with a large ecosystem of partners, all different sorts. And that's one of the reasons we have been running at a lot of places. One of the things I do want to add, there is currently a little bit of a skepticism today who believe, I think many people believe, that IoT is so complex, it can only be tackled vertical by vertical, point by point. I agree, but there is good technology out there coming out, and we have been able to see this. I think only this horizontal scope will give enough efficiency. So we're hoping that the market will move towards that direction very soon.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much, Jane, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.
Okay, thanks, Sudha.
Hi guys, if you like the show, this is where you press subscribe.